Hello everyone, I welcome you all. We'll continue with the next numerical of stiffness matrix method. So I have taken one more numerical for this, that is a beam ABC is given to you again with a point load at a 4 meter and 6 meter apart from A and B of 40 kilonewton. Okay, the change in this numerical is what? Here one extra spring like member is added over here. Okay, so due to this spring, what this numerical will make it different, that we'll see over here, right? So we'll start with your first initial step, that is we'll calculate the degree of kinematic indeterminacy decay over here. Now if you see this structure properly, at A fixed support is provided to you, but there is no any support provided at B over there. But along with that, for this spring a fixed support is provided over there. So due to this fixed support, what this spring will do, or how this joint B will behave, it will follow a upward and downward path over here. It will follow upward and downward path, means it will get compressed or it will get elongate over there in this way. Okay, so that is why here the stiffness of the spring is provided to equal to 0.01 of EI value. Okay, and this will be your EI is nothing but your flexural rigidity there, right? So in calculation of decay, what this joint B, or in simple language I will say this joint B, it will sway in upward and downward direction over there, right? So for calculation of decay, if you are having swaying concept in this, your decay value increases by 1 over there, that is delta comes in to effect over there. So here your decay for joint A, that will be 0, but at joint B your decay value will come equal to 2, and which are those? Those are your first, that is theta B, I assume suppose that as clockwise rotation, and second that will be your delta B, suppose I assume that in downward direction over there. That means theta B is suppose D1 and delta B is suppose D2, means I am having two redundants over here, that is first redundant is at point B and that is the rotational moment, okay, and second redundant, it is the sinking condition that I assume as a force over there. So it will be downward and upward acting force over there. So first redundant will be in terms of moment and second redundant will be in terms of force over there, right? So this will be my total decay value, theta B and delta B. This has made the change in the numerical, that is you need to consider the delta over here due to this effect of spring, right? Now next we'll be having our basic equation, that is what? F is equal to A dl plus S into D. Okay, so we have to calculate the values of these basic equations one by one. So in that, first we will see for F matrix. Now again two redundants you are having, so you will be having F1 and F2 value in this. Okay, we will calculate those values. Now see, for F1 and F2 value, what you have to see, F is what? These are the corresponding forces or moments provided to you along the selected redundant points over there. Now if you select the first as your redundant point, so what you have to see, is there any moment provided to at point B? No, it is not provided, so F1 value will become 0. Same way for F2, you have to see whether any force is provided, because here deflection is your second redundant. Okay, so what you have to see, is there any force corresponding to this point B is given to you, or second coordinate is given to you. Is there any given? No, so F2 value will be also again 0. Okay, simple. If you are having, you can note this, if you are having moment or rotation as your redundant, that is if you are having redundant as theta, so what corresponding you have to see? You have to see moment as the corresponding applied load over there. And if you are taking redundant as your displacement, that is delta, so what you have to see, is there any point load or force correspondingly provided at that point or not? Then and then only your this F1 and F2 values will be coming. Otherwise, if those are not given to you, those will come equal to 0. Okay, so here F1 and F2 I am getting 0. Next we'll go for ADL matrix. So ADL matrix will be having two values again, that is ADL1 and ADL2 over there. Now if you see for ADL values, these are what? These are the forces corresponding to the selected coordinates, that is 1 and 2 in the restraint structure over there due to applied loads over there. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to calculate the friction moments for this, but that friction moment, those will be in terms of moment values. Okay, so that will be useful for this first point, that is if theta is the redundant, so you need to calculate the moment. But what are the fixed moments will be calculating, that will not come into effect for this force. So for that, what you need to do, you need to calculate the reaction at this point. So one by one we will see. So first what I'll do, restraining the structure. Okay, so for that I'm having this AB member, and in that I'm restraining this both joints A and B with given loading as it is, that is 40 kilonewton at 4 meter and 6 meter apart. Okay, so here your ADL1 value will be what, that will be equal to your selected friction moment at your first coordinate. So first coordinate is for rotation over here, so you have to check whether the moment is acting or that moment will be your equal to MFBA. So here if I mark my first ADL1, that will be for BA member. Okay, and same way ADL2 will be what, that will be corresponding displacement and its corresponding force acting over there. Now here in friction moment we will get only moment values over there, so you need to calculate corresponding force applied for this. That force ADL2 will be nothing but your reaction coming at point B, that is RB over there. Okay, so you need to calculate these two values, MFBA and RB, right? So here I'll take that my second redundant value, that is this RB. Suppose I assume that in downward direction, ADL2, that will be for RB over there. Okay, now we'll calculate the friction moments first. So for friction moment we'll be having first MFAB and second MFBA. So MFAB will be what, WAB square by L square, and that will be negative over here. A is your 4, B is your 6. So this value I am getting equal to minus 57.6 kilonewton meter. Okay, 40 into 4 into 6 square divided by 10 square. And same way MFBA, I'll get that as plus WA square B divided by L square. So this I am getting as plus 38.4. Okay, so from this I'll get ADL1 value. Therefore ADL1, it is equal to your value of MFBA. So that I'll get equal to ADL1 is equal to MFBA, I am getting as 38.4. Right, now next I have to calculate the ADL2 value. For that I need to calculate the reaction at point B. Okay, so here again I'll consider the member AB. Okay, suppose this is your fixed support over here, so here I'll be having that reaction RA over there, and here I'm having my second reaction as RB. Okay, instead of upward I'll assume this as downward over there, because here I have considered that as downward direction. Okay, next here loading is given to you, that is 40 at distance 4 meter and 6 meter. Along with that you are having the fixed moments here. So this fixed moment is minus 57.6, minus it is, so it will be anti-clockwise in nature. And MFBA I am getting as plus 38.4, so that will be clockwise in nature, 38.4. So I have to calculate the value of RB here. So for that what I'll do, I'll take summation of point A is equal to 0, treating clockwise moments as positive. So what I'll get, this anti-clockwise moment minus 57.6, next plus clockwise moment of this 40, that will be 40 into 4, right, plus moment of this RB, that will be RB into total length, that is 10, but that will be anti-clockwise in nature, so that is why this will come negative, plus this 38.4 is equal to 0. So if you solve this for RB value, I have got this RB as 14.08 kilonewton positive. I am getting RB as 14.08 kilonewton as positive. What this positive sign indicates, that my assumed direction of RB is correct. RB will be acting in downward direction over there. Okay, sorry, here this RB into 10, that will be a clockwise moment here, and this RB I am getting as minus 14.08. So minus what indicates that my assumed direction is wrong over there. So RB will be acting in upward direction over there. So you make the correction, RB will be acting in upward direction. Okay, so I have to calculate the ADL2 value over there. Okay, so ADL2, that will be equal to your value of RB, but this is acting in downward direction. So ADL2, that will be equal to minus 14.08 over there. That is your value of RB. Okay, so these two values I have got, ADL1 as 38.4 and ADL2 value as 14.08 over there. Right, now we'll proceed for your next matrix, that is the stiffness matrix over there. So the third one, that is the S matrix. So S matrix will be having S11, S12, S21 and S22. Okay, so for S11 we'll apply first Roman over here. In that, apply unit displacement at coordinate 1, keeping other coordinates fixed. Okay, that means you are having now both the coordinates at joint B over there, but what you have to do, you have to free it for your first coordinate and fix for the second coordinate over there. That means here your slope value will emerge, but your deflection value will become 0 over there. Okay, so we'll see that. So how to apply this? That is, you have to apply theta B or D1 is equal to 1 here. Okay, so this is your joint A, that is already fixed, and for joint B you have to free it over there for theta B value. Okay, so here I'll mark my both the coefficients over there. So first coefficient, that will be a moment value, and second coefficient, that will be a force value as per your assumed redundance over there. First is a rotation, that is theta B, and second is the delta, so that will be a force over here. Okay, so this will be having S of, that is for a moment, S of stiffness at your first coordinate B when unit displacement is applied for your first coordinate itself, and this will become stiffness you are calculating it at for second coordinate when unit displacement is applied at your first coordinate. So here you have to apply theta B is equal to 1, so that will be following a upward path over here, which will show this theta B or D1 value is equal to 1 here, right? So for that you have to calculate the value of S of 11 and S of 22. Okay, I'll solve here. S of 11 first. Okay, so for the value of S of 11, if you see that you are applying the unit displacement at your point B, and corresponding to that S of 11 will be having a near end rotation, so that will become 4 EI theta B divided by L over there. Theta B is again 1, L is your 10, so 4 by 10 you will get again equal to 0.4 times of EI. So S11 I am getting equal to 0.4 of EI. Now next I have to calculate the S of 21 value. Now for S of 21 you are not having any moment value over here, because here you have to calculate the force value over here, right? So for the force value calculation you do not need to take the far end moment value. Okay, so you have to calculate this from your geometry. Okay, so here S of 11, so this will become 4 EI upon L, that is theta upon L, theta is here 1, and here this will become far end moment, that is 2 EI theta upon L. Suppose length of member is L, and you have to calculate this S of 21 value over here. So this is your geometry. This will be subjected to near end rotation 4 EI theta upon L. This will be subjected to far end rotation 2 EI theta upon L, and length is given to you, and S of 21 you have to not apply the given loadings to you in this diagram. Okay, so here you have to calculate S of 21 value. So for that what I'll do, point A and point B, I'll take moment at point A is equal to 0, treating clockwise moments positive. This you have to assume always in a clockwise direction. If this is clockwise, this will also be clockwise in nature. I have told you in your first unit slope deflection equations. Okay, so as moment at A if I applied, what I get, that is 2 EI theta is 1, so I will not write that theta, 2 ei upon L plus 4 ei upon L and plus s of 2 1 into L is equal to 0, right? So if I calculate this s of 2 1, I get this as 2 plus 4 6. When that goes on RHS side, that becomes minus, and this L will get divided, so this I get as minus 6 ei upon L square over there, minus 6 ei. In terms of theta it will be minus 6 ei upon L square. So you write one note from this, that if you are applying theta is equal to 1 and if you are asked to calculate the force value, that force value it is always equal to minus 6 ei upon L square. Condition is what? That your theta must be clockwise in nature. Okay, so s of 2 1 I am getting 6 ei upon L square negative. So this value will be over here, that is this is acting downward. Okay, so same value will be here, minus 6 ei upon L square, and that will be for member BA again. Okay, so 6 ei upon L square, L is given to you, that is 10. So 6 divided by 10 square, that I get as minus 0.06 times of ei. Okay, see again I will repeat, that is this is your AB member. Due to this unit rotation over here, that is theta equal to 1, near end rotation will be subjected at B, far end rotation will be subjected at A. I have to calculate this value of s of 2 1. S of 2 1 I have kept in downward direction as it is. So taking moment at point A, 2 e upon L and 4 e upon L, that will get add, plus s of 2 1 will be having clockwise rotation, so plus s21 into lever arm is L equal to 0. From this s21 I have got equal to minus 6a upon L square. So that as it is with the negative sign I am writing here, because why? This is already in downward direction and this also I am getting negative over here. So I am not changing the direction for this. So s of 2 1 I am getting minus 6a upon L square, L I am substituting as 10. So 6 upon 10 square I am getting as minus 0.06 of ei value. Okay, so from this you can write one note over there. So what note you have to write? If you are having theta is equal to 1 value and if you are calculating the force value, that force value it comes equal to 6 ei upon L square, 6 ei theta upon L square, whereas this theta will be equal to 1 there, and mostly this value comes negative. So minus 6 ei upon L square will be the value of that force. Okay, that I have calculated, or instead of force you can write here stiffness coefficient also. Okay, instead of force I'll write here stiffness coefficient. So you note down this as your note number 1. If theta is equal to 1 and if you are calculating the stiffness coefficient for the force value, that will be equal to minus 6 ei theta upon L square, whereas theta will be equal to 1 there. Right, now we'll go for your second part. Okay, in that second part we'll see apply unit displacement at coordinate 2 keeping coordinate 1 fixed. Alright, keeping coordinate 1 fixed. That means now what you have to do, you have to fix the joint B for rotation, and here you have to allow the deflection value over here. So I will draw the diagram again. So A is already fixed, A, and B will be free again for delta value, right? So here I will mark again my stiffness coefficient, that is first is the moment and second is the downward acting force over there. So this will become S of stiffness for your second coordinate when unit displacement is applied for second coordinate, and here this will become S of stiffness for your first coordinate when unit displacement will be applied for second coordinate. Means what you have to do here, you have to apply delta B is equal to 1. Okay, so if I apply this delta B is equal to 1, suppose this is my delta value, that is delta B I am applying here 1. So due to this delta B, deflection pattern will be in downward direction, which will be subjecting the anti-clockwise translational rotations of intensity 6 ei delta upon L square for this. Okay, 6 ei delta upon L square, and same way here also 6 ei delta upon L square over there, right? These are due to this delta. Due to theta you have to take near end and far end concepts, and due to delta you have to take translation rotation 6 ei delta upon L square. Okay, now due to this I have to calculate the value of S of 1 2 and S of 2 2 over here. Okay, we'll go for S of 1 2 first. Now if you see S of 1 2, that is the stiffness coefficient is for the moment over there. Now whatever this moment is there, this is coming in anti-clockwise direction over here, that is 6 ei delta upon L square. Okay, so if you are assuming this in clockwise direction, this you are having anti-clockwise, so this S of 1 2 value I'll get as minus 6 ei delta upon L square, whereas this delta will be equal to 1 there. Okay, so if we calculate this 6 ei upon L square, this I get as L is 10 minus 0.06 of ei. Check whether you are getting this equal to S of 2 1 or not. S of 2 1 I have got equal to minus 0.06. Yes, it is coming same. So this is S of 1 2. Next I have to calculate the S of 2 2 value. Now again S of 2 2 value, that you have to calculate the reaction or force coefficient coming due to this translational rotation moments over there. So that we will calculate. So again this you are having 6 ei upon L square, delta is 1 there. Here also you are having anti-clockwise 6 ei upon L square, and this you are having here equal to S of 2 2, and length is here equal to L. Okay, so here you have to calculate S of 1 2. So for that I'll take again moment at point A is equal to 0, treating clockwise moments again positive. So what I get this minus 6 ei upon L square, again this anti-clockwise minus 6 ei upon L square plus S of 2 2 into L is equal to 0. This is anti-clockwise moment, so that comes minus. This is also anti-clockwise, so minus, and this moment will be along point A will be clockwise direction, S of 2 2 moment, so that will come positive in nature. S of 2 2 into lever arm is L again. Okay, so if I calculate this I get as minus 6 minus 6, that is minus 12 ei upon L square. This goes on RHS side, so S of 2 2 into L is equal to 12 ei upon L square, and if I calculate S of 2 2 from this, that I get as 12 ei, this L will get divided to L cube over there. Okay, and whatever direction I have assumed positive, I am getting this, so your direction is correct. S22 value will be equal to this force value, that is 12 ei upon L cube over there. Okay, but one more thing is given to you. Along with that, one stiffness coefficient for this spring is provided to, that is equal to 0.01 of ei, that will get added to this. Okay, this will call it as given 0.01. So if I calculate this S of 2 2, that is 12 ei divided by 10 cube plus 0.01 of ei, I get this as 0.022 of ei. Okay, that means I have got all my stiffness coefficient values. Now here we form a note number 2. That is, note number 2 is what? If you are applying delta equal to 1, okay, if you are applying delta is equal to 1, and yet you are calculating the force value from this translational rotational moments, that force value or that stiffness coefficient comes equal to 12 ei upon L cube over there. So here note number 2 comes, that is, if you are applying delta is equal to 1, then for force your stiffness coefficient will be equal to 12 ei delta upon L cube over there, whereas this delta will be equal to 1. Okay, and note number 3, if you are applying delta is equal to 1 again, and if you are calculating the moment as your stiffness coefficient, okay, that means this value S of 1 2 we have calculated, that is, if you are applying delta equal to 1, and if you are calculating moment value, that comes equal to 6 ei delta upon L square, whereas here delta will be equal to 1 again. Here also delta will be equal to 1, but here theta will be equal to 1, right? So these three notes you have to remember in stiffness matrix method. That is, if theta equal to 1, if you are calculating force as stiffness coefficient, that comes minus 6 theta upon L square. If delta is equal to 1, for force as stiffness coefficient you will calculate as 12 EI delta upon L cube, and for moment coefficient you will calculate that as 6 EI delta upon L cube over there. Now I'll write all these values in my matrix form over there. Okay, that is F12 values I have got 0, ADL1 and ADL2, that values I am getting 38.4 and minus 14.08. 38.4 and minus 14.08 plus from S matrix I'll take EI common over there. S11 I am getting equal to 0.4, S12 I am getting equal to minus 0.06, here again minus 0.06, and S22 I have got that as 0.022 into D1 and D2. Okay, so if you solve this, I get this as 0.4 of D1 minus 0.06 of D2 is equal to minus 38.4 upon EI as my equation number 1, and second equation minus 0.06 of D1 plus 0.022 of D2 is equal to 14.08 upon EI. That is equation number 2. Okay, this 38.4 when it goes on LHS side that becomes negative, and this negative 14.08 when it goes on LHS that becomes here positive. So solving these two equations for D1 and D2 values, D1 is nothing but theta B value and D2 is nothing but your delta B value, that we assume as your redundance here. D1 as your theta B and D2 as delta B over there. I get theta B is equal to 0 and delta B I am getting equal to 640 upon EI. You check these values what you are getting. Okay, I am getting D1 that is theta B is equal to 0 and D2 that is delta B is equal to 640 upon EI. Okay, now we will calculate your final moments over there, that is slope deflection equations. Okay, for slope deflection equation I am having first equation of MAB, that is your what, equal to MFAB. MFAB I have got minus 57.6 plus 2A upon L, so L is your 10, so that comes equal to 0.2 times of EI into bracket theta A will be 0, what will remain, just theta B, right, minus 3 delta upon L. Now here you have to consider the delta value over there. Now that delta will be this theta B value. Okay, and next MBA you will calculate in same way, that is MBA will be MFBA plus 38.4 plus 0.2 EI into bracket 2 theta B minus again 3 delta upon L. Okay, so if you substitute the value of theta B as 0 and delta as 640, again in both the equations I have got MAB is equal to minus 96 and MBA as 0 kilonewton meter. MAB as minus 96 and MBA I am getting that equal to 0. Okay, you check these values. Now I will plot my BMD by superposition over there. Here I will plot that diagram. Okay, A, B. Okay, at A I am getting this minus 96, so as per sign convention it will be on the upward side 96. At point B I am getting that 0, join this by a straight line over there. Now next I have to plot the span moment over there. So span moment for AB, point load is given to you, so that will be your WAB divided by L. W is your 40, A is your 4, B is your 6, divided by L is 10. So there that span moment I have got equal to 96 again. Okay, W that is 40 into 4 into 6 divided by 10. Okay, so that I am getting again 96. So that will follow triangular path over here. That is 96 is equal to WAB by L, and just what you have to do is you have to shade the superimposed part here. So that will give me BMD by superposition. Okay, just this numerical I have taken for my all three nodes over there. So you have to very clearly remember all those three nodes which I have given to you for theta and for delta when you are substituting both as unity. What changes does it make over there? So that changes will be useful for solving the numericals on sway frame. Okay, so in next numerical we'll try to solve a numerical on a non-sway frame, and then we'll start with your sway frames over there. Okay, if you are having any doubt, please comment. Thank you so much.